Hello, my name is Antonio. My page is Unapologetically Black ADOS. Ask that you like and subscribe to the page and share my videos so that we begin to get this message out. Today, what I want to talk to my people about, how do we intend to come up out of our current condition if we do not take personal responsibilities for the things that we choose to empower with our viewing ability, far as television, with what we choose to purchase and the businesses that we choose to support within our community. If we do not take personal responsibility for that, how do we intend to lift ourselves out of our condition when as a people we continue to empower systems that continuously racially discriminate against us?
How many of y'all remember In Living Color? How many of y'all remember Rock? How many of y'all remember South Central? Okay? Guess who owned that network? Come on. Rupert Murdoch. So let me explain to y'all.
What Roland Martin is explaining is the same individual who disseminate all this hatred information about black people and this disinformation about black people through his media company, Fox Corp, mainly Fox News here in America, is the same person who profited off of shows like Martin Lawrence, In Living Single, Living Color, also profited off of New York Undercover, all shows that black people ran to the television to watch, and he sold advertisement dollars off of in order to build his corporation, all while promoting disparity and negative commentary about black people on Fox News. So what we have to learn and understand that there is a difference between money and equity. And what us as black people have to start to value is the value of equity versus money.
How we got Fox News. Okay? They launched Fox Broadcasting. They put on black content. We run to Fox. Live in color. Do y'all know why there is a Pepsi and now Apple Music halftime show at a Super Bowl? Because 1 year in Living Color put on their own Super Bowl halftime show, and all these eyeballs left the Super Bowl and they went over to the In Living Color halftime show, and the NFL said, oh, hell no. That's when you got the big halftime performances and they turn into major extravaganzas because of In Living Color. Why did...
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. Here's some bracing news we never expected to report. Black Lives Matter is now more popular than the President of the United States, and not slightly more popular than the President, much more popular. A survey this week by Rasmussen, a right-leaning pollster, found that 62% of likely voters now have a favorable opinion of Black Lives Matter. At the same time, Rasmussen found that Donald Trump's approval rating was 43%. It's almost 20 points lower. And by the way, Trump was not...
So black people have to take account for the fact that your support of Fox channels and also the black television show producers who placed their shows on Fox, because that was where they was able to get the dollars from, have to take responsibility that support built up Fox News, which does nothing but stir up white fear and hatred for the black community.
quit and his family leave. Because what Fox started doing was putting in living color reruns on Fox stations, driving down the syndication value of In Living Color, and they let we ain't gonna produce any more shows because y'all cheating us out our money. What did Fox then do with the money made from black people building up Fox? They landed the NFL. NFL used to be on NBC and CBS. Monday Night Football was on ABC. Fox offered $1 billion plus for the NFL rights, and that's when it went from CBS over to Fox. But guess what happened?
Now, I want you to understand how white people value white power over money. It's because Fox News benefited from that exchange by the viewers coming over to Fox in order to watch In Living Color. However, Fox later on, immediately after that, began to sabotage In Living Color. This is how white people stick to their code, and this is how they value creating a value in their whiteness over the money. And this is why equity, assets, is more important to them than money, because equity and assets allows them to have the power to manipulate the exchange and the cash flow. You need to also understand that part of that deal was to destroy In Living Color for them daring to challenge the Super Bowl. And this is why it was so imperative for the Super Bowl to bring Jay-Z in to squash the discontent that black people had for the NFL during the Kaepernick situation. Is because black people really have the potential to create an alternative that they will produce at the same time as the Super Bowl show that will draw eyeballs from the Super Bowl show to that black talent. And it has been proven. So, in order to maintain white supremacy, what he did was he devalued his own asset by overshowing it. The same as having a high value clothes and then you overproducing and making too many of it devalues it. So you have to understand that white people place equity over money. And they reward each other and work together in order to maintain that white supremacy on all levels. And this is why it is imperative for you to go back to the understanding of ownership and stop chasing these Europeans' wealth, because you will always be on a hamster wheel running in circles trying to catch up with money that they print.
After they got to NFL, bye-bye In Living Color, bye-bye Rock, bye-bye South Central, bye-bye all of the black programming. Now, some of y'all watching me right now, some of y'all saying, okay, Roland, that's all that.
This is why my page highlight for black people the importance of being stockholders and stakeholders. Meaning anything that you take, that you have a stake in its success, that you must be a stockholder in, so that you are able to control the direction of that you have stake in. And television is one of those things that black people must only support channels and networks that we have stake in or stock in, because we have so much stake in what it produces. And as you see, we enjoyed and benefited from the opportunity to have entertainment that was catered to us, especially on Thursday night lineup on Fox with the Martin Lawrence, In Living Single, and New York Undercover. But the consequences of that was Fox News getting the resources in order to disseminate information that goes against your very existence.
Right now, Black Lives Matter has changed the rules, and here's their first new rule: no criticizing Black Lives Matter. You can be fired from your job if you disobey. Many Americans have been. On Friday, for example, the principal of a public school in Windsor, Vermont, was dismissed from her job for posting the following words on her personal Facebook page, quote, "While I understand the urgency to feel compelled to advocate for Black lives, what about our fellow law enforcement? Just because I don't walk around with a BLM sign should not mean I'm a racist," end quote. Unfortunately, the principal's boss disagreed. The superintendent of Windsor Schools described the quote you just heard as, quote, "outright racist." Windsor, Vermont, by the way, is more than 97% white. Also on Friday, an economist called Harold Uhlig lost his job at the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago for daring to offer even milder criticism than that. On Twitter, Uhlig noted that Black Lives Matter had, quote, just torpedoed itself with its full-fledged support of hashtag defund the police. Now is the time, Uhlig noted, quote, for sensible adults to enter back into the room and have serious, earnest, respectful conversations about it all. That was a racist statement, the federal...
History. I mean, you just bringing up old stuff. Why are you sitting here? Why are you sitting here? Why are you sitting here bringing up old stuff? What has been all the rage for the last year? What? Hold up. What have you heard, Greg and Reese? Man, did y'all see that movie on TUBI? You need to get on TUBI. You need to get on TUBI. You need to get on TUBI. You need to get you a movie on TUBI. You need to get on TUBI. You need to get on TUBI. Go to my iPad. TUBI sees impressive growth with over 74 million monthly active users. Keep it right there. Saying it right here. Do y'all know who owns TUBI? Pull a picture up. Who owns TUBI? He does.
Wow. What Martin Rowland is exposing to the black community right now is that the black community is not so woke. Because we continuously repeat the same process. We continuously empower people who's going to take their wealth and work and use their wealth in order to work against us as a people. And at some point, us as a people have to take accountability for this. And we does this repeatedly, time and time again. This is not the only example. Black people build social networks repeatedly, from TikTok to Clubhouse. Clubhouse, a social media app introduced in March, allows users to gather in virtual rooms where they are communicating with another through the mic of their iPhone. Because the app required an invitation, early participation was mostly from the communities around its founders and founders, basically wealthy Silicon Valley veterans, capitalists, and workers in tech industries.
Compression that happens these days when an app goes viral is actually compressing. The compression period to virality, where the amount of time it takes to grow compresses with the viral nature of an app, is phenomenal. Well, this has happened in just jet speed. Then, after raising only $10 million, they go out at a $1 billion valuation and raise $100 million, also involving Andreessen Horowitz. So wait a minute, let me see if I understand this. This thing was started with seed funding barely a year ago, and it was only on iOS. And only on iOS, it got a $10 million investment from Andreessen Horowitz. That's not huge. Then, Thanks to a waiting list, it kind of grew at a moderate rate, but these were high-quality individuals, kind of a who's who of Silicon Valley. Yep, that's right. And then the thing goes...
Black users are saving Clubhouse from becoming a drab hangout for tech bros. Clubhouse has carved out a niche among black users, and as they have joined, they have innovated new ways for users and voice chatting apps. Clubhouse has not said how many users there are on the app, but Sensor Towers estimate that the app has seen approximately 1.3 million installs worldwide. What was once an app filled with a kind of networking you might hear a tech dinner party in San Francisco was quickly being rounded out with the type of socializing you might catch at a barbershop in Atlanta.
To 2 million and 6 million just in 30 days, right at the beginning of the year, suddenly having a $1 billion valuation and a $100 million investment led by Andreessen Horowitz? Yes, that's exactly what I said. Look at the compression that's on here. It's amazing. And Android is still on the outside looking in or looking up at the trajectory that Apple and iOS is involving. Now, here's something else here. We know that Android on a global basis...
What is Fox doing? Black people, listen to me.
Good Lord.
Listen to me, black people. You built Fox Broadcasting, which gave them the financial wherewithal to get the NFL. They get the NFL, build up the financial wherewithal to launch Fox News. Now we're living in a digital world.
Yes, sir.
And what is TUBI doing? Black content, black content, black content, black content. They dropping black, I see all the Instagram posts, the Twitter posts, my movie on TUBI, my movie on TUBI, movie on TUBI. And guess what? Their numbers are blowing up. Their numbers are blowing up.
Says that out loud, but politicians understand it perfectly well. If nothing else, they understand power. They can smell it at great distances. And that's why they're lining up to bow before Black Lives Matter.
You can't really reform a department that is rotten to the root.
We've heard our people cry out, "I can't breathe." We've heard our people speak out, "Black Lives Matter." This is a systemic problem that requires a comprehensive solution.
And what I would say is that there is a legitimacy to this anger. There's a legitimacy to this outrage.
None of what you just saw is a stretch for Democrats. They believe their long-term goals align with those of Black Lives Matter. And in fact, at times, the group functions as an arm of the Democratic Party. More telling, though, and more ominous is the response from many Republicans. They've been happy to go along as well, or in Mitt Romney's case, even mouth the same slogans.
To end violence and brutality, and to make sure that people understand that Black Lives Matter.
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different result. And we as black people have been doing the same thing repeatedly, expecting a different result. Expecting to be accepted within this society, expecting that we will be treated fairly in the workplace, expecting that this government will protect you and the people, and yet you as a people choose to empower a person or a network that vilifies people who acknowledge your suffering. Fox News vilified people who acknowledge your humanity, and you're going to continue to rebuild them up by putting programming on TUBI, by watching TUBI, and think that you don't have no culpability in the treatment of you and your children. You have to take responsibility for the things that you invest and empower within your community and how that affects your community.
Black people, you are turning TUBI into one of the largest fast channels, which is basically a digital channel. They're doing it with black content. Look at it right there. Look at all these. Y'all, look at this. This is how they're competing against Netflix and the rest of them. Black, 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 black. Do y'all understand that Fox sold its entertainment division to Disney a few years ago for $70+ billion?
What Martin is explaining to you is that they keep repeating the same process, building brand after brand up off of the backs of black people at the same time. The wealth that they use to accumulate off of us and our support, they use to tear us down as a people and to show us in negative aspects. And we have to start to take self-accountability for what we choose to empower if you're going to have an issue with your current condition that you and your children are in. And this is all he is explaining on here. And that is what white people have taken from black people when they have given us Christianity, is that we are waiting for God or something in the sky to change our condition, rather than us having individual accountability for our actions and what we as individuals choose to empower on a daily basis. At some point, as a people, we have to start taking individual accountability for our condition and how we empower our oppressor. And we have to, at some point, start taking every method necessary in order to hinder or prevent from empowering our oppressor whenever possible. And because you see these black promoted shows or targeted audience shows, does not mean that these black people are not sellouts. You have to understand. So what, you got money from that? Who did you empower?
How did we get here? In a word, quickly. It happened fast. As recently as December, before the riots, most Americans did not approve of Black Lives Matter. The group was defined in the public mind by moments like this. Pigs in a blanket! Cry like bacon! 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 Pigs in a blanket fry like bacon. Kill the police. They yelled that at a rally. The usual liars immediately swooped in to pretend that it never happened.
So we empower Fox News to depict the Black Lives Matter protests in the most defaming or demeaning or destructive manner, and him leaving out of context, him taking what was said out of the context of the environment of the police continuously murdering black people.
Now listen to me. Call the person that was coming to get you. Tell them they don't need to come. All right? Yes. Okay? So go ahead and call them. I'm going to take you to jail, and I'm going to impound the car. Use your phone. It's in your lap right there.
I just don't want to put my hands down. I'm really sorry.
You're just really wrong.
No. I've just seen way too many videos of problems.
But you're not black. Remember, we only kill black people. Yeah, we only kill black people, right? All the videos you've seen, have you seen any white people get killed? You have.
Fox Studios,
Yeah.
Fox Entertainment, all of their Fox Entertainment assets sold to Disney.
That's right.
They retain Fox News, Wall Street Journal, New York Post, and those assets. So Fox right now is building a digital brand on the backs of black people. And you know what we doing? We going, I'm on TUBI, I'm on TUBI, oh, I'm on TUBI, I'm on TUBI. Now I understand.
Here's what Martin won't say that I will say, is that putting your product on TUBI makes you a sellout. Because you're doing something for your own benefit at the detriment of your own people. You're empowering this person for you to generate wealth, seeing that he's taking this wealth and promoting images and justifying the murder of your people.
Asking. What you cannot be punished for, however, is looting and burning, at least not if you're Black Lives Matter. Huge parts of our urban landscape have been destroyed in the past month. Almost no one has been held to account for it. Just the opposite. You're encouraged to pretend it never happened. In St. Louis, every rioter arrested has been released without charges. In New York, hundreds were released without bail. Same in Washington, D.C. It's happening almost everywhere, and not just in places controlled by elected Democrats, which tells you a lot. Fort Worth, Texas, for example, is one of the few major American cities that is led by a Republican, Mayor Betsy Price.
Minneapolis tonight, authorities say they are now searching for a man that they allege is seen in a viral video smashing windows and inciting violence after the death of George Floyd. They say he is a white supremacist who wanted to fuel racial unrest. Here's Alex Perez.
Tonight, authorities in Minneapolis say they have finally identified the man they claim incited days of violent protest there after George Floyd was killed. Dubbed the Umbrella Man on social media, he was captured in this viral video breaking windows at this AutoZone, dressed in black, holding an umbrella. In a court filing this week, police identifying him as a white supremacist. Brad Svensson recorded the May 27th incident.
It was strange because he was just casually walking through this warlike space.
According to court documents, the man also spray painted the words "Free Expletive for Everyone Zone" on the business's doors. Not long after, looting and fires began in the area, police say. An officer telling the court, until Umbrella Man, the protest had been relatively peaceful. This individual's sole aim was to incite violence. After a tip, investigators zeroing in on the 32-year-old, police say also a known member of a whites-only motorcycle gang. And David, investigators are working to obtain the man's cell phone.
You can continuously show how he disparagingly degrade Black Lives Matter, or how he continuously tried to criminalize black people who peacefully protested against the continuous brutality that we are enduring here in America under the people who are supposed to serve and protect us. How he continuously belittled that, and how he will never report the truth of how so many white supremacists infiltrated Black Lives Matter protesters to create violence. These are the things they will not do, because this media outlet is intended to promote hatred for you, and you are going to enrich these very people by placing programming on TUBI and by watching TUBI. At some point, black people, we really need accountability for our own actions and what we do and what we empower.